Thank you, Forrest, for this wonderful music this morning. Welcome to this gathering hosted by the Universalist, Unitarian Universalist Church of Bowling Green. Whether you're here in person or online, we are so glad that you're joining us. My name is Uta, and I will be your service associate today. Please take a moment to set these pesky little noisemakers to silent so that we can be here with each other. This service is live streamed. If this large room here with all the people in it is not exactly comfortable for you, you can go in the Bellou Lounge, which is kind of right next to the exit there, and watch it there. We are a welcoming congregation, whoever you are, wherever you come from, however you identify, whoever you love. We're so glad you're here and welcome you. For Unitarian Universalists, the flaming chalice is a symbol of the light of learning and the love of community. As our congregation's chalice is lit, we invite you to light your own chalice at home. This morning, our chalice will be lit by Gail, and Wendy will provide the reading for us. And Gail had a recent birthday.
Here we have come into this sacred space, quieter now with our readiness, hushed voices, hoping, trusting for so many things, for connection, for communion, for inspiration, for information, for healing, for wholeness, for words, for music, for celebration, and consolation. Here we have come into this space, bringing all of who we are. Let us be willing, however we are changed. Katie Kandarian Morris.
Please stay seated and join me in singing Rise Up, O Flame, number 362 in the Gray Hymnal. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
This morning, Wendy will also be giving us the opening reading.
Wild geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Mary Oliver.
Thank you, Wendy. So please rise in body and spirit as we sing together, Come, Come, Whoever You Are, which is number 108 in the Gray Hymnal, and the words will be on the screen.
For those of you who know this around, we're going to sing this through 3 times, so join in as you will. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come yet again, come. Come yet again, come. You may be seated.
So many voices joining together, filling this church. It's just wonderful. Each week, we take a moment to read together a component of our vision, mission, or covenant of principles. We invite you, as you are comfortable, to read with us. We promise to live in harmony and civility, with awareness and tolerance, acceptance and celebration of our diversity. We commit ourselves to enthusiastic support of our fellowship and of the Unitarian Universalist tradition through our individual gifts and talents. So we'll now sing the children out. Please join me. As the children go to the religious exploration, please remain seated. And we sing them on the way out using hymn 1057, Go Lift It Up, in the teal hymnal.
Oh, lift it up, Lord, bless your way. Moonlights our light guide, our journey into peace and the brightness of day.
We will now have a few moments for meditation, reflection, and prayer. The singing bowl will lead us into silence. And after the silence, you're invited to join in the song Spirit of Life, which is hymn 123 in the gray hymnal, but the words will be on the screen. We will now have a responsive reading called We Create a Web of Life. by Rain Border. So I read the stuff in bold, and you get to read the other stuff. You have a lot more work to do than I do. We create a web of life. 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 Amen. Thank you all. As I guess not mentioned earlier, Unitarian Universalists have a wide array of beliefs, and the speakers at our Sunday services come from many traditions. With us today to share their thoughts is Reverend Dr. Michelle Pederson. Let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Pederson before she comes up. The Reverend Dr. Michelle Pederson is a spiritual director and a writer. She's an affiliated community minister within Greater Nashville Unitarian Universalist congregation. Through her ministry, Michelle helps busy people to slow down, to listen to their lives, and notice the mysteries all around. She can be found online at spaceforyouspirit.com. She can be found writing on medium.com at MFD Pederson and Substack at Spiral Connection. Please welcome Reverend Dr. Michelle Pederson.
Good morning. So it's nice to be with you on this dreary morning. Hopefully the rain's done for a little bit. I hear that there's a group going to a trail that you all have adopted. That sounds exciting. I am not dressed for it, so I won't be going. The truth is, you cannot change them. You cannot change anyone else, no matter how much you want them to, or how hard you try to get them to see reason, no matter how much you pray, you scream, cry, beg, cajole, or even hope. The truth is, you cannot change anyone else. For the most part, we all know that, and yet it doesn't stop us from trying to do just that, to change someone, to change their behavior, especially when it's someone that we love. This is a harsh reality when talking about substance abuse and addiction. You might see how harmful the addiction is in your loved one's life, the effects on their physical, mental, spiritual health, their employment, relationships, and finances. You can see the harm and potential for more. You might think that you know what needs to be done, what needs to happen to improve the situation, but you cannot make it happen. The only person who can change the situation is the addict, and they seem unable to see the problem. It's kind of like seeing the person that you care about standing on the railroad tracks. I don't know if I'm standing too close.
No, there's something going on that is not your fault at all.
Okay. So it's kind of like seeing your loved one standing on the railroad tracks. And in the distance, you can see the freight train barreling towards them. And you yell, "Hey, get off the tracks. Here comes the train." As you point, I don't see anything. They're oblivious, or they doubt you. That's not really a train in the distance. It's a mirage. In other words, I don't have a problem. It's you. Being in a relationship with someone struggling with addiction can be frightening. You worry about them. You can see danger and the potential for destruction on the horizon while they are in denial. You might even become frustrated and angry about their actions and the turmoil it's brought into your life. While it may not seem so, life is often frightening also for the addict. They may not understand how they got into this position or know how to fix it, how to improve it. They see that they mess up and are disappointing people, but they don't know why they do what they do. In my talk this morning, I'll primarily be talking about substance addictions, though the nature of process addictions or behavioral addictions are similar. You've likely heard a whole host of terms for substance addictions, such as drug abuse, misuse, or addiction, alcoholism, substance use disorder, misuse, or dependence. I'm going to use alcoholism, addiction, and substance abuse interchangeably here, all referring to the problematic use of substances. So, substance addictions involve dependence on a substance, something that is taken into the body, such as alcohol, nicotine, or drugs, legal drugs and illegal drugs. Process addictions, on the other hand, are compulsive behaviors, such as compulsive gambling, overeating, sex, shopping, internet use. The use of substances or behaviors is harmful and is characterized by a lack of control. The Mayo Clinic definition of drug addiction, also called substance use disorder, is a disease that affects a person's brain and behavior and leads to an inability to control the use of a legal or illegal drug or medicine. So there's three key things I want you to hear in that definition. It's a disease, and it's an addiction that affects both the person's brain and their behavior. The American Medical Association classified alcoholism as a disease in 1956 and included addiction as a disease in 1987. In 2011, the American Society of Addiction Medicine joined the AMA, defining addiction as a chronic brain disorder, not a behavior problem or the result of making bad choices. Indiana Health University writes, I said that wrong, Indiana University of Health writes, addiction changes the way the brain works, rewiring its structure. Drugs and alcohol hack into your brain's communication system and interfere with how nerve cells send, receive, and process information. Our brains then keep asking for more of the substance. Addicts become physically dependent on the substance, over time needing that substance in order to function. The final part of the Mayo Clinic's definition is what most are familiar with. Addictions affect behavior. Addicts do and say things that don't make sense to others. They apologize for their behavior and then do it again, leaving loved ones baffled. Quote, research has shown how addiction changes areas of the brain in charge of judgment, decision-making, learning, and memory, and controlling behavior. Those changes can lead a good student to flunking out, a wife lying about draining the family's bank account, or an overdose in a grocery parking lot with kids watching in their car seats. Once substance use changes the brain, willpower changes too. If you try to quit using substances, your brain tries to protect you from the pain and intensity of withdrawal symptoms. Addiction fuels your brain's response to do whatever it takes to stop the cravings and discomfort. That can mean overruling the will to just say no by taking a drink or using a drug, unquote. Many people use substances responsibly to affect their mood, to relieve stress, relax, feel happiness, even euphoria, maybe to focus, to stay more alert. For example, a pleasurable way to spend an evening for many is by enjoying a glass of wine, a beer, a cocktail with friends in the evening. A 2023 national survey found 79.1% of people drank alcohol at some point in their lives. Drinking is commonplace in our culture. For some, however, consuming alcohol becomes a problem. The drinker's mood, behavior, and personality change. Their lives are negatively impacted, and they find that they have little control over how much or how often they use. In my early 20s, my drinking became problematic. I eagerly looked forward to drinking so I could feel some relief. I drank fast and became drunk quickly. Often, when drunk, my mood shifted to easily become anger. One evening, we were drinking and I decided I wouldn't drink anymore that night. A short time later, someone says to me, "I thought you weren't drinking anymore." I said, "I'm not." They pointed at my hand, and looking down, I was genuinely surprised to find I had a beer in my hand and I had already drank half of it. This is an example of a lack of awareness and a lack of control over how much and how often I consumed. Essentially, someone can point without the train barreling down. Perhaps the addict can even see the train, yet continue to resist viewing the substance as an imminent threat, likely saying, I'm not that bad. My use isn't that bad. I can stop anytime I want to. I don't really have a problem. Standing on the tracks and watching the train thinking, I have plenty of time to jump out of the way. You might wonder what the prevalence of use and addiction are. In a 2023 national survey, more than 3/4 of people reported having consumed alcohol at some point in their lives. For drugs, 13% had used any illicit drugs in the past month. In other words, there are a whole lot of people who consume substances. That survey also found that 28.9 million, or 10%, had an alcohol use disorder, and 27.2 million, so just a little less, had a drug use disorder in the past year. That's a whole lot of people. It's a lot of people struggling with addictions. And it's not only adults. 3% of youth aged 12 to 17 had an alcohol use disorder in the past year. And youth are nearly twice as likely to suffer from an illicit drug use disorder than they are from an alcohol use disorder. In addition, some people have a co-occurring mental health disorder, and often people are addicted to multiple substances. More than 28 million people suffering from these illnesses is no small number. Whether you are aware of it or not, you likely have contact with someone who is struggling with addiction. In other words, you are not alone, either as an addict or as someone who loves an addict. So we know that we can't fix someone with an addiction, so what are we supposed to do? Addiction is not your fault. Either that you became addicted or someone you know became addicted. There are a variety of contributing factors to becoming dependent. However, you cannot cause another person to become addicted, unless, of course, you're forcing drugs on them. So it's not your fault. The responsibility for becoming sober rests with the addict, not with anyone else. Even if you tackle the person standing on the railroad tracks, avoiding them getting hit then, they'll likely return to the tracks and stand in front of another train. You can only point out the problem. The addict must move off the tracks and away from harm. And everything can change in an instant, negatively or positively. I've been sober now for 32 years. Back then, while I was drinking, I had a rule that I didn't drive after 2 drinks. And then one night in March 1993, I broke that rule. I got behind the wheel in an alcohol-induced blackout, and I had a serious car crash. Fortunately, no one was physically hurt. I was alone in the car, and out of habit, I had buckled my seatbelt. My life was permanently changed that night, for the better. I knew without a doubt that I had a serious problem, and I intuitively knew I needed help from others. That's a big deal for me, who is very introverted and prefer to be with myself than with people, but I knew I needed people. So I immediately began attending Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. I was terrified of what was going to happen to my life. Everyone I knew, family and friends, drank, and I could not imagine life without alcohol. At those meetings, I found people who looked nothing like me, were significantly older than me, were men, and had very different life experiences from me. Most importantly, though, I found people who understood me, who struggled with addiction, had become sober, and maintained continuous sobriety for decades. I found support. I found hope. That is the basis of AA, one alcoholic talking to another, helping each other to get and stay sober. The AA program saved my life and has saved the lives of countless others. Prior to its formation in 1934, there was little help for alcoholics. Commonly, problem drinkers were committed to a sanitarium and didn't get better. Over the decades since then, AA has proliferated worldwide, and the program has been adapted to meet the needs of other substance and process addictions, such as Narcotics Anonymous and Overeaters Anonymous. AA became the primary model for recovery programs, for treatment, and for court-ordered mandates. Because AA originally grew out of the Oxford group, there are Christian undertones in the program and a heavy reliance on spirituality. Since I grew up unchurched, I really didn't notice those Christian references. They went right over my head. Fortunately today, there are many alternatives to the AA model. While it works for me, it isn't the best solution for everyone. UU poet Alex Klingenberg wrote a reflection in 2019 for the Braver Wiser newsletter titled Quitting. She wrote, "It's 4 a.m. It feels like food poisoning and 2 cups of strong coffee combined. A jittery, nauseating combination of bad decisions. My heart is pounding and I can't believe I let myself do this again. For the 1,000th time, I vow to never drink again. I get up and take 2 Advil and make myself eat something. I hope the dizziness will stop before I have to do anything physical, like take my son to school. Shame, regret, and most of all, fear. What if I can't stop? What if I can, and it means I never get to drink again? When my son comes out, I pull myself together as best I can, smiling through the pounding head pain. The painkillers kick in, and I'm functional again, but my inner voice is louder than I've heard it in a long time. You have to quit. Now." That day, I Googled how to quit drinking without AA and found a book called This Naked Mind, Control Alcohol. And that was exactly what I wanted to do, control how much I drank. So I bought it and read the first 2 chapters with a drink in my hand. Within 2 days of beginning the book, I'd quit for good. My inner voice had been telling me to quit drinking for years. Quit drinking, start writing, it would say, gently at first, and then with an escalating tremor of fear. It's funny how things change, both slowly and suddenly. The signs you see in retrospect showing you that you'd been on the path all along. In every journal, in every list of New Year's resolutions, in every life plan I've created for the past 10 years, I had some version of quit drinking, start writing. I often wonder why it took me so long, even as I'm grateful that I listened and acted when I did. And the truth is, I don't miss drinking at all, nor do I miss the fearful inner chatter of the voice that led me here. Once I quit drinking, my inner voice and I began the harder work of creating a life from which I do not need or want to escape. There are many methods toward recovery from substance abuse. There's oodles of information on the internet, books, videos, support groups, treatment and recovery centers, various types of therapy, and medical management of addiction. In addition, there's a wide range of support available for family and friends of addicts. In AA, I discovered my own higher power, something I didn't even know was possible. And eventually, that spirituality brought me to Unitarian Universalism. Recovery from substance addiction is possible. It is not easy, but it is absolutely worth it. The life you never dreamed possible is available through recovery. And the good news is you don't have to do it alone. Reach out to trusted others, to your doctor, your therapist, your counselor, to someone you know is sober. I am always available. Contact me if you'd like help looking for options or finding resources. There's no judgment and there's no pressure. I'm happy to talk with you. Everything can change in an instant. I'm grateful that I moved off the tracks before my complete destruction and I found sobriety. May you point out the train for another. May you see the train yourself and move off the tracks. May you be peaceful, joyous, and free. May it be so. Amen.
Thank you, Michelle, for sharing your thoughts today on this somber and meaningful and thought-provoking topic. This congregation and the work we do is supported by the voluntary generosity in all who contribute. We are a community of memory and of hope, and we are called to be the keepers of the dream. Our dream includes a world where pets are given everything they need. And so on this third Sunday, we are donating to the Bowling Green, Warren County Humane Society. Not sure, Diane, he wanted to say something extra? Nope, I guess. The QR codes, church mailing address, and the website URL are shown on the screen. As we enjoy the music, the offering will be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared hopes and values.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. Well, I know they're wrong. Wait and see. connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Well, who said that every wish would be heard and answered? We wished on the morning star. Well, somebody thought of that, and someone believed it, and look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Well, have you been half asleep? And have you heard voices? Well, I've heard them calling my name. Well, is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. Well, I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da da dee da da do, la da 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 dee da do.
Thank you for the music and the singing I heard throughout. And we also thank you for these gifts. May we use them wisely in the service of our congregation and our community. If you have questions about Unitarian Universalism or about joining this congregation, please speak to a member of our membership team. The name tags have an open book symbol on them. You can also email membership at, oh, no, that's not what I meant, at uucbg.com. We'll be hosting a Get to Know You on Tuesday, March 25th here at the UU Church. You can email your membership team for more information, and there's also a sign-up sheet like on the table behind the door there if you're kind of interested. And as always, we have a Q&A on the second Sunday of every month directly after the service. The next one will be April 13th. Our congregation is an active one, and we do more than just meet Sunday mornings. Here are some of the ways you can be involved, make friends, and make a difference. One of them is Circle Suppers. Today's the last day to sign up. If you'd like to join for the social event, please put your name on the sign-up sheet in the lobby. It's also on the table there near the bulletin board. This afternoon, our first trail Cleanup day is happening? Is it going ahead? Yes. Good, thank you. We will meet at 1 o'clock at Preston Miller Park. If you'd like to carpool, please meet in the fellowship hall at 12:45. We have 2 fundraisers happening this month. You can purchase an engraved brick to help build the patio labyrinth in the Cornerstone Garden. Forms are available in the lobby. Please order by March 31st. And donations are being gratefully accepted for the piano fund. There's a tip bowl on the piano. You can leave donations marked piano in that offering plate. I guess it's a bit late for today. Next Sunday, on March 23rd, our service topic is Facing Death with Life. John Downing, Klaus Ernst, and Kay Witt will be sharing their experience, insights, and actions that have resulted from participating in a group that dealt with the knowledge that we will die and how to plan and come to terms with it. We hope you can join us in person or online. As always, you can find more information and community news by reading the weekly email updates and the monthly newsletter. Here at church, you can look at the bulletin boards and the screens in the lobby. Our website and our Facebook page and Facebook groups are always available as well. We invite you to share your thoughts about today's service. You can send comments to Sunday services at uucbg.com. For those who are here in person, there's a blue box in the lobby where you can leave suggestions and comments. Or you can use the online form. There's a link on it in your YouTube page, and the QR code is posted in the bulletin board and printed in the welcome brochure. So lots of ways to do that. Then please rise in body and spirit as we sing together For the Beauty of the Earth, hymn number 21 in the gray hymnal.
This our hymn of grateful praise.
This morning, Wendy will be giving our final reading.
A new beginning. Nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. The path of transformation is not about erasing our past, but about making peace with it. Learning that even the broken places can grow flowers. Pema Chodron.
Thank you, Wendy. We now bid farewell to those who joined us online. We hope you found this service meaningful, and we invite you to join us again in the future in person or online. Be well and go in peace.